And all new at 10, a West Valley charter school is facing serious charges tonight.
Two top administrators accused of stealing more than $500,000 in taxpayer money. And we're digging deeper tonight. This is just the latest case amplifying calls for reform, with millions of dollars in taxpayer money at stake. Incito Schools in Goodyear has received about $3 million in taxpayer money each year since 2013. Now, two of its administrators and the school itself face felony charges for how they spent some of those dollars. April Black and Amanda Jellison, the school's two executive directors, indicted on fraud, theft, forgery, and conspiracy charges, accused in this indictment of fabricating pay stubs and payroll records to illegally obtain funds from the Maricopa County Superintendent and the county's Educational Services Agency. The two are accused of stealing more than $567,000 in taxpayer money. Three former employees told us they received W-2s indicating they'd been paid a county grant they never received. They say they reported it to the county, which then reported it to the Attorney General. But those former employees say the indictment doesn't tell the whole story. Former workers described a bizarre system of paying employees. Teachers would often receive a low base salary, far below the state average, with the promise the school would make up the difference through bonuses. Those bonuses, according to former employees, were often handed out at school events and not always in cash. Former employees say they received gifts including Apple Watches and iPads, Tiffany necklaces, even a group outing to a nail salon. And the odd behavior didn't end there. Former workers say administrators would use religious language, saying God told them to hand out the money in gifts. We reached out to the school and its representatives multiple times for a response. No one would comment on record. This would not be the first time that an owner or administrator of a charter school has been charged with financial crimes. In the last couple of years, at least two other charter schools have closed, and some people have actually gone to jail. Watchdog groups say this underscores the need for charter school reform, better financial oversight, especially with taxpayer money. One example, at Incito, Black and Jellison serve as both administrators and governing board members. That would be illegal in a school district. In charters, it's not only legal, but commonplace. Dave Wells is a researcher with the nonpartisan Grand Canyon Institute.
Charter boards very frequently have friends and relatives, as well as people who work for the school on their boards. And there's no prohibition on that. So that's very common. So there's lots of people who often have conflicts of interest that would simply not be allowed in a district school.
Then there's the subject of financial reporting. Charter schools audit themselves, filing sparse statements with little detail about how they spend millions of taxpayer dollars. The State Charter School Board can conduct an independent audit, but
the state has never audited any charter schools. So the ones that we've looked at have usually been because the federal government has caught them in bankruptcy proceedings, or there's been fraud that's been caught related to the Department of Education in Arizona.
ABC 15 reached out to the Attorney General's office to find out why this investigation took years to complete. A spokesperson said the office had no comment. We also asked the Charter School Board if it was aware of the indictment or if there was any plan to review the school's charter or finances. A spokesperson initially asked when we intended to air our story, but did not respond to any of our questions.
As for